And finally, before we get to your questions, we have some news to announce.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, Commissioner of the WNBA, just announced that starting in 2025, the WNBA Finals format will change.
The WNBA just dropped a bombshell mid-playoffs. And yes, it's all fueled by the Caitlin Clark effect. In a move that's shaking the foundations of the league, major rule changes are coming in 2025. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it a bold leap forward or a desperate scramble to catch up? Clark's playoff exit left something glaringly obvious. Half-empty arenas and TV ratings nosediving. It was like the lights dimmed the moment she stepped off the court. Now, the league's top brass is making high-stakes moves, essentially gambling on new policies to patch the cracks. But can rule changes alone revive what's slipping? Let's rewind and talk about Clark's meteoric rise. She didn't just play the game, she electrified it. 62 records obliterated, sold-out arenas, primetime broadcasts lighting up. With every Fever game, she was more than a rookie. She was a revolution. Every step she took turned into a highlight. And fans.
I knew the atmosphere was going to be electric when they announced Caitlin's name in the dark and the fans went crazy.
But let's get real. The moment Caitlin Clark exited the stage, the entire spotlight dimmed. Ratings didn't just dip, they plummeted by a jaw-dropping 80%. Some arenas started looking more like abandoned movie sets than professional courts. Entire seating sections were tarped off just to hide the emptiness from national broadcasts. Be honest, are you even shocked? Clark wasn't just a player, she was the heartbeat of the WNBA. Night after night, she carried the league on her shoulders. And now, she's off the court and onto the golf course, and the silence is deafening. So the question is, can the league really survive without its golden ticket? The new rules on the horizon better be more than flashy headlines, because right now, things are looking grim. Before we dive into what's changing and why it matters, make sure you're subscribed. Buckle up. This is where it gets interesting.
Staying with the WNBA playoffs, let's stay here. Let's just say the ratings aren't the same with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever now eliminated.
Oh, and it's not just TV ratings taking a nosedive. Arena attendance is crumbling too. The WNBA is officially in panic mode, and now they're getting ready to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. But here's the real twist. This isn't just a mild refresh. These new rules, they're a full-blown overhaul. The kind of shakeup that could either revive the league or send it spiraling even deeper into the background. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Can any of this actually fill the Caitlin Clark-sized void? Or are we watching the league slip quietly back into irrelevance without its breakout superstar? Let's get into the first big move. The WNBA is expanding the regular season from 40 to 44 games starting in 2025. Why? Because there's a brand new team entering the mix, the Golden State Valkyries.
To go to multiple arenas so that people that are watching at home can see this environment in a multitude of cities. It's amazing. I love it. The growth continues.
Because in the league's eyes, the equation is simple. More games, more fans, more revenue. And they're not stopping there. In a bold twist, the WNBA is flipping the script on the first round of the playoffs. Starting next season, it's moving to a 1-1-1 format, which means even the lower-seeded teams are now guaranteed a home game. That's right. Underdogs finally get a shot to shine on their own turf.
Starting in 2025, the WNBA Finals format will change to a best-of-7 series.
Yes.
And the format will be 2-2-1-1.
Remember that Fever versus Sun series? Indiana never even got the chance to bring the fight back home to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. After all the controversy in Games 1 and 2, their season ended without their fans ever getting a moment. Now suddenly, the league has a revelation. Maybe lower seeds should get to play in front of their home crowd too. Cue Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, hitting the media circuit like these changes are the silver bullet that'll save the league. She's calling it a constant balancing of the schedule. Sounds more like a constant scramble to stay afloat without the one player who is keeping the lights on. Let's be real. Without Caitlin Clark, the league is running on borrowed. Hype and these tweaks might be too little, too late.
Say for the fans, it's a benefit for your team. It's played well enough to get into the playoffs. So now that your fans will be able to see your team play at home during those playoffs.
But let's get real for a moment. Are these changes actually tackling what fans truly care about? On the surface, sure, adding more games sounds exciting. More action, more highlights, right? But dig a little deeper. What about the issues that hit home, player safety, consistent officiating, the integrity of the game. All of it seems conveniently brushed aside, practically ghosted by Engelbert like it's no big deal.
With the increased attention this year, there's also been increased scrutiny about the quality of refereeing. Curious if there has been any conversation about whether it's referee pay, referee training, anything to ensure that is as good as it can.
It's like they've slapped a shiny new coat of paint on a crumbling house and proudly called it a renovation. Come on, let's not pretend fans can't see through that. They watched Caitlin Clark step onto the court and deliver more than just jaw-dropping stats. She brought a fresh, electric energy, a whole vibe that made the game feel alive again. Fast-paced, joyful, unselfish team basketball. No-look passes, logo-range threes, chemistry that actually looked like chemistry. It wasn't just basketball, it was entertainment. And now? It's back to the same old routine, just with a longer season slapped on top. Clark exits the playoffs, and suddenly half the arena seats are empty. TV ratings? They nosedive faster than the Chicago Sky's PR team in a group chat. And the WNBA's big idea? Give us more of the same product fans are already tuning out of. It really makes you wonder, is anyone in the league office even paying attention?
I came to see Caitlin Clark tonight.
Oh, gotta watch number 22.
I've been watching Caitlin for a couple of years, and since then I've dreamed about coming to a game.
Let's talk ratings, because the numbers don't lie. When Caitlin Clark was on the floor, you had regular season games pulling over 1 million viewers, and her playoff matchups? They spiked to 2, even 3 million. That's not just buzz, that's a phenomenon. But take her out of the spotlight, and suddenly the viewership barely scrapes 500,000. That's not a decline. It's a nosedive off a cliff. No amount of extra playoff games is going to patch that kind of hemorrhage. So what exactly is the plan here? Are league executives just hoping that by the time the 2025 season tips off, fans will have forgotten about the glaring problems eroding the game's credibility? Are they betting that tossing a few more regular season matchups into the mix will magically reignite interest? Or maybe, just maybe, they're crossing their fingers that some made-for-TV rivalries will finally take hold and distract us from the real issues begging to be addressed.
White, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Because in Kathy Engelbert's world, it's never just about one player. But here's the twist. These latest changes, they might do more harm than good. More games may sound like growth on paper, but in reality, it means more wear and tear on already overworked athletes. Stretching out playoff series only increases the risk of injury. And let's be honest, if the officiating doesn't get a serious upgrade, then we're just multiplying the chances for blown calls and fan frustration. It feels like the league is in denial. They caught lightning in a bottle with Caitlin Clark, a player who didn't just boost viewership but shifted the cultural conversation around women's basketball. And instead of figuring out how to bottle that magic, they're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Fans aren't begging for more basketball, they're craving better basketball. They want intensity, they want fairness, they want their favorite stars not just to survive the season, but to thrive in it. Look, I get it. Real change is hard. It takes vision, risk, and a willingness to question the status quo. But adding a few extra regular season games and calling it innovation, that's not transformation. It's a band-aid on a broken system.
Notice when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
Everyone's buzzing about rule changes, tweaks to the schedule, and playoff formats, but they're all ignoring the massive elephant in the room. What if I told you Caitlin Clark didn't just change the game? She rewrote the WNBA's entire playbook, on the court, in corporate boardrooms, and in living rooms across the country? Let's talk facts, because the numbers don't lie. Clark's rookie jersey, the top selling in WNBA history. That's not just impressive, it's a full-blown cultural moment for a league that's been starving for mainstream star power. But the impact doesn't stop at merchandise. During her 2024 games, over 54 million viewers tuned in. Yes, you heard that right, 54 million. That's not hype. That's history. When was the last time the league saw that kind of gravitational pull around one player? It's not just a stat, it's a signal. And the league can't afford to ignore what it means.
And the Fever are going to be over 200,000 higher than the next highest total attendance in league history.
Clarkonomics, my friend.
Now here's where things get real. With Caitlin Clark on the court, nationally televised WNBA games averaged a staggering 1.2 million viewers. Take her out of the lineup, and that number doesn't just dip. It crashes to around 440,000. That's not a small drop. That's a full-on freefall. And it wasn't just the TV screens lighting up. Attendance records were shattered during her rookie season, with over 1.5 million fans packing arenas across the country. People weren't just watching, they were showing up. Live, in person, filling seats, creating an energy the league hasn't seen in years. Now maybe you're thinking, okay, but it's just one player, right? Wrong. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a player, she was a cultural flashpoint. She turned women's basketball into must-see TV. She had people who'd never watched a WNBA game suddenly tuning in, arguing about highlights, and talking stats at the water cooler. When's the last time the league generated that kind of buzz? So why are fans tuning out now? It's not just about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represented. She brought fast-paced, high-scoring, edge-of-your-seat basketball. The kind of game that grabs your attention and doesn't let go. That's what fans showed up for. That's what they fell in love with. Now, it feels like we've been dragged back into a familiar loop of slow-paced play and predictable outcomes. But here's the thing, it's deeper than just style. Fans aren't just missing Clark's game. They're frustrated with the league's persistent issues. Player safety? Practically an afterthought. Fair officiating? Don't even get started. Remember the eye poke that went unchecked? Or that awkward, half-hearted Rookie of the Year ceremony that felt more like a technicality than a celebration? These aren't isolated slip-ups. They're red flags. Symptoms of a league that's dangerously out of sync with what fans crave and what players deserve.
That's what's called being a consumer. You get to buy what you want to purchase.
Let's talk management, just for a second. Kathy Engelbert and her leadership team seem more focused on quick wins than building a sustainable, thriving league. They struck gold with Caitlin Clark, lightning in a bottle. But instead of using that momentum to elevate everyone, to push the entire WNBA into a new era, they rode the Clark wave until it hit the shore. And now they're scrambling, patching leaks in a ship that's clearly taking on water. Their solution? Tweak a few rules, spin it as innovation, and hope no one notices the cracks underneath. But let's not kid ourselves. These aren't fixes. They're distractions. A smokescreen designed to cover deeper, more pressing issues the league seems unwilling to confront. Take player safety, for example. Remember when Clark took that brutal eye poke during the playoffs? No foul, no flagrant. Just a nasty hit, brushed. Off like it was nothing. That's not just poor officiating, it's a safety hazard. When moments like that go unchecked, it sends a message that player well-being is negotiable. And that's a dangerous game to play.
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
And here's the thing. It's not just a one-off incident. Caitlin Clark found herself on the receiving end of 177% of all flagrant fouls in the league during her rookie season. Let that sink in. One player soaking up that much punishment? Was the Jordan rules suddenly in effect for her and no one bothered to send the memo? But hey, at least she got that Rookie of the Year award, right? Wrong. Picture this. Clark, breaking records left and right, changing the game in ways no one expected. And how does the WNBA respond? With a phone call? In a practice gym? No ceremony. No red carpet. Just a quiet acknowledgement of her historic achievements, as if it was just another day at the office. It's as if they couldn't even bring themselves to fully honor the impact she had. And that's the kind of thing that makes you stop and ask.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game. You can't make this up.
The irony? Fans aren't buying it. It's not just that they're missing Caitlin Clark's game. They're fed up with the deeper issues plaguing the league. Player safety? A joke. Fair officiating? Please. Recognition for star players? That's a whole other story. Where are the press conferences addressing these real concerns? These aren't just minor hiccups. These are glaring signs of a league that has completely lost touch with what both fans and players actually want. And let's be honest, no amount of extra games or playoff tweaks will magically fix that. So what's the solution? It's not as simple as slapping on a few new rules and calling it progress. The WNBA needs a full-on overhaul. We're talking top to bottom, inside out. The league needs to address player safety head-on, not with vague promises, but with clear guidelines and real consequences for dangerous play.
Let me speak for every one of those fans when I say, I will put my time, my effort, my enjoyment into whatever makes me happy. I enjoy watching her play, and that makes me happy.
For crying out loud, the WNBA needs to start treating its stars like stars. When you've got a player like Caitlin Clark, someone who's not just breaking records, but also pulling in millions of viewers, you roll out the red carpet. You make a big deal out of it. You use that moment to launch the entire league to new heights. But what did we get instead? A phone call in a practice gym and a rushed Rookie of the Year award, as if she were just another player. Come on, this was a cultural moment, an opportunity for the league to celebrate what they've been starving for, a true star. So here we are. The WNBA, scrambling to fill the Clark-sized hole left behind, throwing out these new rules, more games, longer playoffs. Sounds great in theory, right? But let's be real. Are a few extra matchups really going to solve the real problems here? We're talking about a league that can't protect its stars, can't officiate fairly, and can't even throw a decent celebration for its most historic players. Now, without Clark, TV ratings are plummeting, and arenas are emptier than a politician's promises. Here's the million-dollar question. Is this a case of too little, too late? Are these even the right changes? Because, from where I'm sitting, it looks like the WNBA is trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. Will the league learn from the Caitlin Clark effect? Or are we watching women's pro basketball fade into irrelevance? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.